Chapter 147. My name is Chen Ergou. The Heavenly Ghost sect are inheritors of the Tao of the ancient Heavenly Ghost. It cultivates the Tao of Yin ghosts and can connect to the 9 nether and control 10,000s of ghosts. San Shi looked at the introduction with a strange expression. It seemed that the inheritance of this sect did not come from humans, but from some heavenly ghost. Was the Sky Corpse sect and Sky Demon cult's inheritance similar? He wondered what level these Sky Corpses, heavenly ghosts, and Sky Demons were at, and whether they were similar to immortal cultivators of great Jin. I will take this with a pinch of salt. After all, there will always be a possibility of that they are just bragging about themselves. As San Shi continued to read, there was an introduction to the Heavenly Ghost sect's history, location, culture and so on. This sect was similar to the Yao Moon Palace. There were inner and outer sects. Currently, there were thousands of disciples and hundreds of thousands of slaves, many of whom were ghosts. After quickly reading the information, San Shi sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. He wanted to stabilize his realm as soon as possible. Then, he had to consider the matter of forming his core. He had digested the memories of the blood-robed old ghost and gained an additional experience for core formation. He only needed to combine it with his own situation to have a relatively easy breakthrough. At the same time, he had to cultivate the blood transformation technique to better disguise himself as the blood-robed old ghost. This cultivation technique was very strange. Instead of cultivating the dantian and other acupuncture points, it cultivated the heart and all the blood in the body. At the very end, after refining the heart, the flesh and blood in his entire body, he would be turned into blood. Only then he could be considered to have reached great mastery of the technique. Afterwards he would no longer need to be afraid of physical damage. As he explored the technique, a day passed quickly. On the evening of the second day, Shi Qianya's voice came from outside the door. "Blood-robed elder, are you still going to the exchange meeting?" "Yes." San Shi ended his cultivation, restored his appearance as Yasuo, and walked out with his sword. At this moment, his face was a little pale. This was the effect of cultivating the blood transformation divine technique. "Elder," Bai Shaokan welcomed him. "You can cultivate now. If I don't call for you, you don't have to guard me." Outside, Shi Qianya waited expressionlessly. He glanced at Bai Shaokan, who was behind San Shi, and said, "I've been rather busy recently. Why don't I give you a map and you go yourself?" "Sure." Seeing that this person was unwilling to accompany, San Shi was also not interested in owing him a favor. "You're from the older generation and have a lot of experience. I have nothing to say. It's fine as long as you come back alive." Shi Qianya threw out a map and turned to leave. San Shi glanced at it and instantly memorized the map. He did not take it. Instead, he flicked his fingers and ignited it with his 9 yang essence energy. A gust of wind blew when the map landed on the ground and turned into ashes. San Shi was already gone. Shi Qianya looked back and frowned slightly. The nature of this old ghost's cultivation technique has changed. Black Mountain. Just like its name suggested, it was a pitch-black mountain. There were no plants, no poisonous insects and no miasma in the air. There was only some soil and moss. The mountain that was thousands of feet tall was made of rocks and looked like a piece of black iron. It was precisely because of this special environment that this place became a relatively safe area. In the Thousand Poison Mountain range, it was usually a resting place for herb collectors. After the demon cults came here, it became a place similar to a market. The Sky Demon cult was the leader of all the major sects that participated in the rebellion in Great Jin, followed by Heavenly Ghost, Sky Corpse and Sky Poison sect. There were also more than 10 small sects nearby, so 2 nights' exchange attracted many cultivators from the various demon cults. San Shi landed on the mountain with an afterimage. He saw that there were already hundreds of figures on the hill. Most of them were Qi Refinement Kane and Extraordinary Foundation Establishment cultivators. "It's quite lively." Hearing the shouts coming from the mountain, San Shi smiled faintly and walked up calmly. "I'm offering the wholesale price of low-level talismans. Come and take a look. The 900-year-old ginseng already has a trace of spirituality. I'll exchange it for a high-grade Dharma artifact. High-grade poison repellent pill. It's a must-have for exploring the Thousand Poisons mountain range." There were many merchants shouting all over the mountain. There were also some vendors who specialized in setting up stalls here. There were even a few pavilions at the top of the mountain which emitted various lights that were especially obvious in the night. Sanchi took another look at the pavilions. 100 Herb Square, Million Treasures Store, Honey Restaurant. They were basically professional shops, comprehensive trading companies and restaurants that sold medicinal pills. Judging from their style of business, some of these guys weren't from the demon cult. They were similar to vendors who came here just to do business. So businessmen are the same everywhere. For half the profits, they are willing to take risks. For double the profits, they even dare to trample on all the laws of the human world. With 3 times the profits, they dare to commit any crime and even risk their lives. Sanchi muttered. He was convinced that some fellows who were here wanted to profit off the ongoing war. Fellow Daoist, you really know how to talk. You revealed the nature of a vendor with just a few words. A chubby middle-aged man landed beside Sanchi. He was dressed in a green brocade robe and was fair and chubby. He had a gentle expression and was inlaid with gold and jade. He exuded a rich aura and looked like a rich man. His cultivation was at the late stage of foundation establishment. He was rather amiable and said, in a friendly manner, that the vendors here will also provide you with the goods you need. They are still valuable, I was just saying. Sanchi did not expect that a passerby would hear his ridicule and come over to confront him. Fortunately, he did not provoke anyone enough that they wanted to beat him up. Fellow Daoist, how should I address you? In Zhuangkai, the manager of the Myriad Treasure Store, pretending to be rich one. Sanchi was surprised by his sudden question and told him the blood-robed old ghost's real name. My name is Chen Ergou. Zhuangkai's face twitched. Fellow Daoist's name is really grounded and down to earth. It can't be helped, I'm from a farmer's family. At least I have a surname. Sanchi smiled faintly. Who would have thought that the infamous blood-robed old ghost's real name was this? Fellow Daoist Chen, you don't look familiar. This should be your first time coming to this exchange. Why don't you come to our Myriad Treasure Store first? If we can't satisfy you, you can go elsewhere to take a look. Zhuangkai invited him. He was very good at reading people. From this person's words and actions, he could tell that Sanchi was not an ordinary person, even if they did talk about their respected statuses. A perfected foundation establishment cultivator was still worthy of his courtesy. Upon hearing that this person was from one of the large trading companies at the top of the mountain, Sanchi casually asked, "Do you have the 3-flower demon seed? If you do, I will go and have a seat." Zhuangkai's expression changed slightly. He knew very well the use of this thing. It was basically used by demonic cultivators to devour cultivators of the same cultivation level, for their flesh, essence and cultivation. It was considered a very vicious method to cultivate. Why? No. Sanchi walked away. If not, I won't waste my time at your place. Yes. Since we're doing business here, why wouldn't we offer demonic items? Zhuangkai smiled. Fellow Daoist Chen, follow me. So you really have it. Sanchi was just asking casually. He did not expect to meet a vendor with what he wanted so quickly. So he did not stand on ceremony and followed him to a pavilion that flickered with various colors. This place was magnificent. When they entered, they were swept by a hidden force. It was obvious that there was a relatively powerful ray formation, and there were cultivators guarding it in the dark. He brought Sanchi into a VIP room and said, "Demonic seeds are very precious. They're far above ordinary pills, especially the 3-flower demon seed. We only have one at the moment. We were originally preparing to auction it off. But I think fellow Daoist Chen is not that. How about we sell it to you at the recent auction price?" Just stone, Sanchi was not to satisfy. He wanted to farm deaths multiple times to obtain more demonic pills. Naturally, the more, the better. Indeed, there's only one, although this thing is unholy. It's very popular among evil cultivators. Zhuangkai's name sounds similar to pretending to be rich in Chinese, as they share the same intonations but are off different Chinese characters.